regarding Donald Trump joining Israel in a war against Iran on Saturday evening. Democratic Senator Chris Murphy put it perfectly. Donald Trump, a weak and dangerously reckless president, has put the United States on a path to a war in the Middle East that the country does not want, the law does not allow, and our security does not demand. Our president knows nothing about history, and history tells us that the United States' hubris about the efficacy of military action in the Middle East is almost always universally wrong. Trump has been goaded into these strikes by the perpetual cheerleaders of war in the Middle East, the people who know how to start conflicts there, but never know how to end them, and the people who profit politically and financially from endless war. I've been briefed on the intelligence. There is no evidence Iran posed an imminent threat to the United States. That makes this attack illegal. Only Congress can declare preemptive war, and we should vote as soon as possible on legislation to explicitly deny President Trump the authorization to drag us into a conflict in the Middle East that could get countless Americans killed and waste trillions of dollars. All my thoughts tonight are for the safety of our personnel in the region, or as Molly Knight puts it, tariffs, stock market down, Medicaid slashed, secret police throwing anyone who looks Latino in unmarked vans, National Guard and Marines deployed in Los Angeles, no end to the wars in Gaza or Ukraine, now bombing Iran. This is the worst 6 months of any presidential term in my lifetime. Or as Ellen Bratton puts it, and George Conway agrees, we have to stop talking about him as if he is a man who has the ability to understand diplomacy or military tactics or anything else for that matter. He is a pathological narcissist with limited cognitive functioning. No one should discuss him with any other lens. And that's exactly how we cover him here on the MeidasTouch network. As Juliet Kayam remarks as well, I don't know if these strikes on these Iranian nuclear sites were successful or just attacks on surface level access. Because one of the things we're learning is that it may have just been attacks on surface level access, but there are consequences, and so here are issues to discuss beyond tactics. The Strait of Hormuz. Reports suggest about 50 oil tankers are scrambling to get out, so there may be fears that it cannot be navigated soon, and that will impact the global economy. What else? American and American interest as a target abroad, including troops, European targets or U.S. targets, and people abroad. Homeland security threats here in the United States. You take a look at this map right here, that is the Strait of Hormuz, and you can see the large oil tankers trying to escape before there's any retaliation directed at them as well. Now, earlier in the day yesterday, Reuters reported the following. This was before the nuclear sites in Iran were attacked by the United States B-2 bombers. Exclusive. Israel seeks swift action on Iran, sources say, with a split in the U.S. administration. So a few hours before the attack took place, during a call with J.D. Vance, J.D. Vance said the following to Reuters yesterday, right before the attack took place. Vice President J.D. Vance pushed back, saying the United States shouldn't be directly involved, and suggesting that the Israelis were going to drag the country into war, said the sources. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth also participated in the call, said a security source. Reuters cannot determine who else participated in the call. How about what Tulsi Gabbard was posting, in 2020? She's the director of national intelligence who 90 days ago said that Iran was not a nuclear threat. She said that Iran was not capable of producing nuclear weapons. She said that 90 days ago. But how about this post on January 5th, 2020? She posted the following: no war with Iran. Get our troops out of Iraq and Syria now. And she was selling t-shirts, I guess. No war with Iran t-shirts. Now, former Trump supporters are absolutely pissed, like Kim Iverson, who posts For the first time ever, I'll be voting straight Democrat in the midterms just to signal my absolute disgust with the administration's betrayal. Our only power is to keep handing losses to each side when they fail us. At some point, they'll get the message. Now, Steve Bannon was live streaming during Donald Trump's speech, and here is what the comments said. By the way, they looked a lot like the comments on my live stream last night when I was covering Donald Trump's speech. Posts like this: I do not support this. Trump should have listened to Bannon. What a mistake. We're not going to fight for Israel. Steve Bannon, you have my vote for president. Well, I wasn't saying anything like that. That wasn't in our chat. But people saying, why the hell is America going to war with Iran? Why are we joining an Israel war with Iran right now based on the intelligence that we have, which is that Iran was not capable of building a nuclear weapon in the next several days? War, easy to get into, hard to get out of. And again, just to remind you about this strike, CNN was reporting last night that it was about 6 B-2 bombers, long-range stealth bombers. They dropped a total of 12 massive ordnance penetrators, those 30,000-pound bunker buster bombs on the Fordow nuclear facility in central Iran. In addition, the U.S. Navy submarines fired a bunch of Tomahawk land attack cruise missiles at 2 other sites, Natanz and Isfahan, and a B-2 dropped 2 more GBU-57 bunker busters on Natanz, according to U.S. officials. But here's an interesting thing as well that BBC was reporting on, that Trump announced the strike Saturday evening on a post on his social media platform after all U.S. planes were out of Iranian airspace. But the U.S. apparently had reached out to Iran diplomatically on Saturday to say the strikes are all it plans to do and that regime change efforts are not planned, according to the BBC's U.S. partner, CBS News. And one of the things Iran is saying is that they had time to remove any of the material that they would have been worried about being attacked in Fordow. Also, Iran state TV media is now threatening U.S. assets here and abroad, and basically saying that they will retaliate against the United States in any shape and form. And again, one of the things we're looking at is the Strait of Hormuz, and we're looking at United States military assets nearby. You have AOC also calling for the impeachment of Donald Trump for violating the Constitution, which I absolutely agree with. AOC writes, the president's disastrous decision to bomb Iran without authorization is a grave violation of the Constitution and congressional war powers. He has impulsively risked launching a war that may ensnare us for generations. It is absolutely clearly grounds for impeachment. Ken Klippenstein was reporting how the U.S. is now briefing its troops that its strike on Iran will likely result in counterstrikes on U.S. bases and facilities in the Middle East and likely activate Iran and other foreign terrorist organizations' cells abroad, including in the U.S., to conduct strikes against U.S. persons and facilities, according to briefings that were obtained. Iran State TV says every American citizen or military in the region is now a target. I want to share with you this moment when Senator Bernie Sanders was giving his incredible speech in Tulsa, Oklahoma, as part of his Fight the Oligarchy speech. Here was the moment that he learned that the United States had struck the 3 sites in Iran, and you'll see how pissed off the crowd got, and they start chanting, "No more wars, no more wars." Here, play this clip.
This is a statement from Donald Trump, quote, "We have completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran," etc. I agree. And I want to tell you something. Not only is this news that I've just heard the second alarming that all of you have just heard, but it is so grossly unconstitutional. All of you know that the only entity that can take this country to war is the U.S. Congress. The president does not have the right.
Go take a look at some prior posts that were made by Donald Trump, like this one on November 10th, 2013, where he wrote, "Remember that I predicted a long time ago that President Obama will attack Iran because of his inability to negotiate properly. Not skilled," is what Donald Trump said back then. And there are a lot of other posts of Donald Trump like that. How about you go to the inauguration? During the Trump inauguration, he said that we will measure our successes by not getting into wars. And again, I've played these videos before. I'm just going to play the inauguration clip, but over and over again, where he said, "I'm not a neocon. We're not getting into more endless wars in the Middle East." But here's what he said at his inauguration, just to remind you. Here, play this clip right here.
Like in 2017, we will again build the strongest military the world has ever seen. We will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars that we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into.
Well, and here's Donald Trump pushing in the chair for Benjamin Netanyahu right there. And then on Fox, the propaganda is in full effect. They're basically literally reporting that war is peace, that because of Trump striking these Iranian nuclear sites, Trump should win the Nobel Peace Prize. That's what they are saying on the state regime media known as Fox. Play this clip.
The president was courageous in making this move and making this decision. And as you said, I think we're going to see the fruits of this decision tonight play out for many, many years to come. And if the Nobel Peace Prize were worth anything anymore, I would say the president certainly deserves one.
Now, I want to remind you as well that earlier in the day, Donald Trump was at his golf club in Bedminster, where he was greeting new members at his New Jersey golf club. He's jacked up all the prices substantially as well to join his clubs to get access to him. Here he is moments before he bombed Iran. Here is what he said to the new members at his club. Play this clip.
So many friends here, but you're all members, and you're all in some cases a lot of new members. I understand you're celebrating new members. Is that right?
And here is Stephen Chung, Donald Trump's. This is a real photo. This is not AI or manipulated. That's actually Trump's communication director there, Steve Chung, returning with Donald Trump to the White House, where they met with the national security team, and then ultimately the attacks on Iran took place. We're going to keep you posted every step of the way here on the MeidasTouch network. One of the things we want to determine is this facility actually still in operation? Was the attack by Donald Trump really done just kind of for show, but didn't really strike where it needed to? I'm trying to really get through the propaganda and the spin. Here's the first official response by the Iranian government to the U.S. strikes against the nuclear site. In a statement by Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, the United States, a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, has committed a grave violation of the UN Charter, international law, and the NPT by attacking Iran's peaceful nuclear installations. The events this morning are outrageous and will have everlasting consequences. Each and every member of the UN must be alarmed over this extremely dangerous, lawless, and criminal behavior. In accordance with the UN Charter and its provisions allowing a legitimate response in self-defense, Iran reserves all options to defend its sovereignty, interest, and people. We'll keep you updated every step of the way. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers, and thanks for watching.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.